All right, you guys, it is cold out here, and so what we're doing today is we're having our electric heater installed for the workshop. So we've got our certified electrician in there doing his thing. We picked up a 7500 watt portable ceiling mount heater, and right now we're having the electrical. I've got 240 already running in there because I have a jacuzzi in the back. So we're tapping into that because in the winter time we won't be using the jacuzzi, so we can utilize that same electrical right there for the heater in the winter time. So kind of makes sense that way. I don't have to add another breaker. So we're gonna go ahead and show you what we got going on and then rock and roll from there, but I'll kind of be documenting this. I'm even gonna show you the electrician. So here we go. All right, guys, so when it comes to wintertime, we definitely want to make sure that a lot of our equipment is secure. When you're running things like heat presses like what I got in the back here, hat presses there, things can get a little temperamental. These machines tend to not like cold weather. So one thing we're going to do today is we're actually installing a ceiling mount heater system. So there's our heater system here. So this is a 7500 watt unit right here, Ainpota. These companies have weird names sometimes, but that's the name we got. This was a Black Friday special. We also got the 2-year insurance plan with this through Amazon, so that way we're covered, because most of the stories that I've heard is that these tend to go out maybe after a year or so, and that's even with very little use. Maybe once or twice a year they're already going out. So one thing we're going to do is make sure that, one, we have the insurance. I'm going to highly recommend that that's what you do if you're going with these type of overseas pieces of equipment, because you just don't know the quality of what you got until you're actually using it. So we've got that, so we're secure there. Now when it comes to installing it, we have this guy here, the certified electrician. So that's Dan. So what he's doing here is he's actually running a J-box up top where we're tapping into the jacuzzi line because in the wintertime we're not using the jacuzzi. So it's perfect, so we don't have to add another breaker. We can just use that, and in the wintertime we can turn that equipment on and then run that to be able to keep our garage nice and warm, take that edge off, keep the garage at 60, 65. But having this, we're not going to need to run it all day, but at least we can run it in the morning, and by running it in the morning we take that edge off and it's nice and toasty enough to where we can start this equipment up, especially lasers. So I ran into that issue right away when I came out here one morning. The laser was just making this weird noise, so I had to do some research. Come to find that cold water running through that tube, period, it does not like. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, it's got to be in a certain temperature in order for it to operate. So we want this garage 60, 65 degrees. That's where I'm about comfortable. So we're going to go ahead and do that, as well as what we're going to do is we're going to be adding a wood box cover for the cooler itself, and that's going to have its own insulation and its own thermostat heater in there that keeps that whole thing within that box, that cooler, that refrigerator cooler, it keeps it warm. I mean, the drawback is a lot of these little refrigeration units, they cool, but they don't heat. Don't know why they don't create a dual system, but it is what it is, and there's been so many ways that people have tried to trick out what they're doing. I'm just going to create an insulated box. I have another video showing exactly what I did there, but today it's all about installing the heater. So I've seen a lot of guys make these videos, but all of a sudden it's from buying the box to, hey, it's done, but nothing in between. So we're going to change that. We're going to show you how it goes as we do it. So stay tuned. Here we go. All right, you guys, we'll show you what we got going on so far. Some of the electricals now in with the J-box, so it's a matter of just connecting from here, and then from here we can go ahead and run the line to the actual unit itself. So I've now got to mount the unit, and then the electrician, my buddy's going to come back and then make all the connections, and then we're good. So we're just at the stage now where, one, he forgot something, he had to go back and get it, but that gives me time to now get the thing mounted up on the ceiling. Here's what's been done so far. So as you see here, we've got the electrical splice in. That's the hardest part because this stuff is so thick, and when you're dealing with cold weather, that rubber is no joke. That jacket is solid coated and does not want to come off very easily. But we have a connection back here. That's where we're splicing the J-box. Now there will have to be, if I ever decide to drywall this whole ceiling, there'll have to be some type of little compartment that I'll create here so that there's access to that J-box. But as you can see, what we're gonna do is mount the heater over here. So I'm gonna put a stud going across from stud to stud. So I've got my 6-inch 2x4 already cut. So I'm gonna post when that's mounted, when it's done, so you can see the mount, how we did it, and then we'll mount the heater, and then we'll show kind of the electrical connections, and then we're good to go from there. We're picking this corner over here because that corner is going to, one, it's going to be out in the open where we need it to be, and then also it's going to be pointed in the direction of where we need that heat, which is the area and space in which I'm working or making videos, etc. But all that equipment that you see there in the back, the Hottronics heat presses, the TV, etc., those are all the things that I'd like to keep warm. I don't want those things being freezing cold, especially in the mornings when I wake up. I can come out here, turn the heater on, let it warm up the garage for about an hour or so, and then boom, I'm good to go. So we'll get back to it. Just an update. Let's grind.
So the neutral wire in the junction box is just passing through. It's not actually connected to this unit.
There we go. See if it turns on. There we go. All right, you guys, so here it is. This is the unit. It's now running, and I believe this is on high. So what's interesting about this unit is that it runs on low when you're at a certain temperature. So if you're somewhere in the mid 60s, it will automatically switch it to a lower power. So this runs between 5,000 and 7,500 watts based on the temperature that you're using. What's really cool about this one is, I'll take it to the back. So depending on what you're running, it's got an internal and an external thermostat setting built in. So if you're running an external, you just switch this and it will work based off of your external thermostat, which I'll probably add later. For now, I just want to see how this thing runs. Definitely running a 90 here with the flex. We ran it up, connected it there, and there's plenty of extra looped around in case I ever have to move this thing. I've got enough flex to move it around. Comes up, and then we're connected at the J-box here, and then we're good. So very cool stuff. So here's our remote control. So we've got the heat setting, the off, your up down temperature, and then a timer mode that I still need to figure out. So with this one, you'll notice on the machine itself, the lights go out. So you actually have to hit the unit, turns it on, it tells you what your setting's at. So this thing is set to run up to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it'll kick off, and then we should be good. So right now we just turned it on. We're gonna definitely see, how warm it gets in here. And then in the morning will be the real test. But you could see here that having the remote control, you're able to go through your different, click it once, and then you can run through your settings and whatnot. I would like to see if I can program this to go turn on at night, maybe every hour for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, just to keep the chill out. Would be nice. But no frills, basic remote, nothing fancy. But there it is. I mean, it's a small portable unit. It's not very heavy. I've got a nice swivel going there. So we did the 1 bolt. It gives you the option to do 2 bolts or 1 bolt. This thing swivels if I need it to. So If I got to point it maybe more towards me, working over here on the computer, you know, there was stuff I can, but it's pointing towards the garage. Now I'm standing currently about maybe 8 feet away from this thing, and I can feel the heat. It's nice and comfortable. It's so far making the garage a little more comfortable just from it being on for like, I don't know, 20 minutes now. So yeah, so we'll definitely see, guys, where this is at in regards to tomorrow. That'll be like the official test of how well this machine runs. I like it. It's definitely not that loud. So I like the fact that it's not extremely loud. It sounds like a really quiet radiator fan. If you like that type of fan, not complaining at all. So far it's great. So we'll see in the morning, more info on it. So stay tuned if you're interested in the results of that. But electrical is fairly simple. It's 3 connections and you're good to go. The hardest part is really, you know, creating your J-box and tapping into the J-box in order to make it work. So if you have that kind of line already, in my case, it was a lifesaver instead of having to run a whole separate line of 240. But yeah, so we're good. Thanks for watching, guys. If you got any questions, go ahead and post in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and leave the link to the description to get this fan on Amazon. This was the best fan I seen that had good wattage, 7,500 watts, between 5 and 7,500. All I needed for this garage was 5 or less. I overkill everything if I can. I want to say it was around 150 is what I got it for on sale, maybe less than that. It might have been like 135 on a Black Friday deal, but there are other ones with different names. So click on the link. That'll be my affiliate link. It does help the channel. It does support me using that link. It costs you nothing to do so. It just throws a little chump change my way. So thanks for watching. Comment if you've gotten something similar. If you have experience with these as well, post what your results were. Thanks for watching. Catch you later, guys. That was like perfect timing. Was that your phone? Trekkie fan. That was perfect. Ow, projectile.
Oh, I forgot to check that. What's going on?
Yeah, buddy. We've got heat. Oh, it's going to be a good winter. Let's go.